Supposedly, Department of Justice had probable cause, right, to go and get this warrant to spy on somebody in the Trump campaign. But then we get to collusion and they find absolutely nothing. What's the disconnect here?
Well, remember what Bill Barr said last week, that the the Obama Justice Department was spying on the Trump campaign. The question is, was there a proper predicate? Was there probable cause to believe that there was a conspiracy or collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia? So that's the question that has to be answered. Now, to be fair, just because Bob Mueller found that there was no evidence of a conspiracy or no evidence of collusion doesn't mean that there couldn't be probable cause to look for it. In other words, a good reason to believe that it exists. But here's the problem, Jason. As you know, Trey Guowdy and I think, were the only two Republicans that had the opportunity to see that probable cause evidence, to see all of those FISA applications in unredacted form. And they centered around something called the Steele dossier, which was entirely false and fake. And now Bob Mueller says it was false and fake. Because remember, the Steele dossier said that Carter Page was at the center of a well-developed conspiracy between the Trump campaign and the Russian government. Carter Page wasn't charged. He was never going to be charged. The idea that he was a Russian agent was a joke. So the folks at the Justice Department, like Jim Comey and Andy McCabe and the folks at Sally Yates and others that verified this, they've got some explaining to do.
So, but what about the FISA court itself? I mean, is the FISA court to blame for this? I mean, were they just snookered?
No, not necessarily, Jason, because remember what they receive when they're asked to grant a warrant to spy on Carter Page. The first thing they see in big, bold letters are verified application, all capitals. So Jim Comey and Sally Yates and everyone else that signed off on those are verifying to the court what's in there. And they're verifying that Christopher Steele was a credible source. They're verifying that the Steele dossier had been corroborated. None of that was true. So the folks that signed off on that, the court can only know what they are told. And they weren't told that Christopher Steele was out to get Donald Trump. They weren't told that the Steele dossier was paid for by Hillary Clinton. So the court really was at the mercy of the people who verified this information. That's what Bill Barr is going to look at. That's what he's promised to look at. That's what we need him to look at to hold folks accountable.
Well, Congressman, thank you. You prosecuted terrorism cases, and you're one of two people, at least on the Republican side of the aisle in Congress, to have actually seen that document. I'd never heard that it was said at the top that it was verified in all bold, capital letters. I think that's an important part for people to know. Congressman, thank you. Also from Texas, the Texas